insightful. It is going to be informative and very inspirational as well. Our guest and our coach for today is already in the room, ready to give a lot of insights around his journey into tech, and also focusing on his journey around the becoming a US global talent. Is really excited to be here, and we are excited to be here as well to share on this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. It's going to be 1 hour to 1.5 hours. It would be informative. You would be getting a lot of information, and we would have opportunities for question and answers. For those of us that are watching the replay of this session, you can also drop your questions in the chat, and we will be able to get to as many questions as possible. This is around the journey to becoming a global talent in the US, focusing on the O1 EB visas, and our coach will be sharing a lot of information along these lines. This is eMigr8 Open Day. We focus on tech-enabled visa pathway for relocation and settlement. We focus on pathways that even as a beginner, you can plan. We focus on pathways where if you already qualify, you can get endorsed, and you would get information on this session around some of the tips, some of the information you may not be able to easily Google, and some of the things that you should do in terms of packaging your visa application. But then you would also hear about how eMigr8 can help your journey to becoming globally attractive. You would also hear about how you can become a global talent. It's going to be full of inspiration. It's going to be full of information as well. So with that being said, I would say welcome to this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Just to make sure that I'm not speaking to myself, could you drop in the chat to just confirm that you can hear me? And also please confirm if you can see my screen. Today, our focus is going to be around eMigr8 Open Day, would be around move to the US as a global talent. There are a number of US pathways that our coach will be talking about to us, and specifically the pathways that he took as regards moving to the US from his own country. eMigr8 focuses on tech-enabled visa opportunities for relocation and settlement. And so please drop in the chat just to confirm to me that you can hear me and that you can see my screen. We are focused on tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement. Just to give you an insight of what we'll be doing within this 1 hour, 30 minutes or thereabout that we would be together during this session, we'll start by sharing a little bit of information about what eMigr8 is and also what eMigr8 is not. Right? Then we will drill down into our coaches session. Ernest is in the room already. Is in the room, and he will be sharing a lot of information with us today. But then if you wait till the end of this session, or you watch this replay video to the end, we've got a gift for you within this session. And so we have a gift for you, and we'll also be talking about some updates around moving to the UK and some updates also around the visa pathway we'll be discussing today, and other tech-enabled visa pathway. We'll be sharing some updates during this session today. We'll just remind you that we have had a number of open day sessions in the past, and we ask that you watch some of these replay videos, particularly those that are focused on visa pathways that you are interested in. We've got open day videos around the US, around Canada, around France, around multiple European countries that also offer different tech-enabled visa opportunities for tech talents such as yourself. And so we encourage you to please take a look at some of these videos and take a look at the insight that the coaches have shared in these videos. Today, we will be focused on move to the US as a global talent, and NS is already in the room. But then we have many other open days planned within the eMigr8 community. We've got eMigr8 Open Days planned later this year, focused on the UK Innovator Visa. Innovator Founder Visa. That's the new name for that visa route in the UK. We've got open days focused on the UK Tech Nation visa or the Global Talent visa. And yes, Tech Nation visa still exists as at this moment. Move to the US as a global talent, and a number of other open days that are planned as part of the eMigr8 Open Day series. You get access to eMigr8 Open Day as a member of our eMigr8 community. eMigr8 is focused on helping you become globally attractive. Yes, some of us may have come into the room or you're watching the replay because of a specific visa pathway or the other. But for us at eMigr8, the visas themselves are a low-hanging fruit of a bigger objective. And that bigger objective is that if you are globally attractive, you will have options. You have options of either staying in your own country and then contributing globally, or staying in your own country and working remotely in different parts of the world. But then you can choose to also move to different destination countries, different host countries who are interested in attracting your talent. These host countries are not doing you a favor. These host countries make these visa opportunities available because they want the best of the best in the world. They want the talent of the world to come to their jurisdiction, to their economy, because they know you will create employment, you will bring your innovation, you will bring your ideas, you would help their economy, you will help their polity, you would bring the startups, you would bring employment, and you will bring jobs into their economy. And that's the reason why these visa pathways exist. And you can leverage on it. Even if you're a beginner, you can plan to become globally attractive. And if you're already globally attractive, you need to be able to package yourself, package your profile so that it meets the different endorsement and assessment criteria that these different countries of the world have put together. And this is how we help at eMigr8. We help at eMigr8 by helping you become globally attractive. How we do this are via different eMigr8 services, starting with information sessions, general inquiry, coaching and holding, assessment of, do I already even qualify for this particular pathway or another pathway? Or if you need a self-directed roadmap to say, oh, yes, I want to get qualified, or I want a roadmap towards my application. Or if you need hand-holding, we're able to help as well. What eMigr8 focuses on, for example, with the Global Talent Visa, is that we are able to help review your application. We're able to work with you to package your application, and we're able to help with an endorsement review process should you have applied and you got rejected. And we do a lot of things for free. eMigr8 operates a freemium model. We operate a freemium model. What that means is that we do a lot of things for free. And yes, we do charge a premium for some of our services as well. On the free side for eMigr8, we've got information and inspiration. For example, this open day that you're watching and you're attending at this moment is one of such sessions where it's designed to give as much information as possible, but then also inspire you for you to aspire towards many of these visa pathways. eMigr8 community is also available. We're on 6 different social media channels, and so you can probably find an eMigr8 community within a channel that you frequent in terms of social media. We run monthly open days focused on different visa pathways. We've got introductory videos and several others as well. I'll just mention that you also get access to private short inquiry sessions. The only thing is that we are limited because of numbers. We're trying to help as many people as possible. We are limited at the moment to just one short inquiry session per person for free. What that means is that we ask that please use all the other resources that are available. Use them before you book a private short inquiry session. We would expect that when you're booking a short inquiry session, you're asking questions that are pertinent to you, questions that you could not have answered by simply Googling it. That's what the short inquiry sessions are designed for. But this is available for you for free, and you can take advantage of it. On the premium side, we've got a premium community called eMigr8 Circle, and it's a community closer to our coaches within the eMigr8 platform. We also charge for personalized coaching sessions, typically about 1 hour sessions. We charge for that. And we've got packages as well available within the eMigr8 community. If you're interested in any of these that I've mentioned, what you need to do is just go to beancom.net/eMigr8, beancom.net/eMigr8. eMigr8 is spelled EMIGR and then the number 8. beancom.net/eMigr8, and then you can begin your journey across the different eMigr8 visas and eMigr8 tech-enabled visas that are available. I mentioned also that we do have packages, and these packages are designed to help you. So if you're focused on a specific visa opportunity, you can subscribe to an eMigr8 package focused on that visa opportunity. We've got the move to the UK as a global talent focused on the UK Tech Nation visa, the UK Global Talent visa for the field of digital technology. We've got the move to the UK as an innovator founder. This is focused on the UK Innovator Founder visa. We've got the move to the US as a global talent, and this is focused on the US 01 visa and also the EB series of visas. We've got different other opportunities and packages as well around moving to different countries of the world, including maybe even getting a work sponsorship and landing a job that can sponsor your visa. We've got the eMigr8 community. We are asked that you engage with us, like, share, comment, ask questions in these communities. We've got coaches available in the communities as well that are willing and happy and looking forward to answer your questions because we just want to help. I'm one of the coaches on the platform, and you can ask as many questions as possible, but we also ask that you also share ideas as long as it's related to tech-enabled visa opportunities, as long as it's related to tech talent visas. That is what eMigr8 is designed to do, and that is what eMigr8 is designed to cover. eMigr8 is a part of an organization called Beancom Dev Center, which is a talent development platform. Beancom Dev Center focuses on building tech talent across different areas of building tech talent. And we've got a number of services, some of which I will talk to you about briefly. Number one is the Beancom Global Tech Program. If you're a beginner in the field of technology, the Beancom Global Tech Program is a fantastic entry point into the field of technology. The program is designed across 3 key pillars. You learn skills, you gain experience, and you gain exposure in the field of technology. But also, if you are intermediate level in the field of tech and you realize that, oh, you've got experience missing and you've got exposure missing that you do need for you to get to the next level in the field of technology, this is also a fantastic program for you because it's designed to help you move from one stage to the other. And so you can skip the beginner stage, start from the intermediate stage, and it helps you move to the next stage in your career. And guess what? You can also learn tech now and pay later. If you're interested in that, you can go to beancom.net/globaltech. We've also got, the program itself is 1 to 2 years, but we've got shorter programs of about 3 months designed to help you move from one stage to the other. And this comprises of things like tech trainings, comprises of individual tech career coaching, apprenticeship where you get references because that's part of what you will need in the field of technology, and several other features and benefits. For people that are advanced in the field of tech, we are also inviting you to come on the platform, on the Beancom mentoring platform specifically, because one of the things you will find out, since we're talking about tech-enabled visa opportunities at the moment, is that mentoring is one of the ways you can show that you are globally attractive. In fact, some of the visa pathways we track within the eMigr8 community actually require you, or wants to find out, have you been mentoring on a structured platform? The Beancom mentoring platform is such a platform, and we invite you as mentors to join the platform to mentor individuals. We have a number of techies, hundreds of them, thousands now actually of them, who are also building their profile, and they are looking for you as an advanced person in the field of tech to mentor them. And so if you're interested in that, beancom.net/mentor is where you need to go, and then you can take it from there to volunteer to mentor within the Beancom mentoring platform. We've got Labs by Beancom as well. Labs by Beancom helps you to build a product-led digital technology company from scratch with a team. It's a 3 to 6 months program. And what happens is you are combined with other people that also register for labs. And then you are able to walk through the full process of building a startup, starting from the idea stage to pitch deck to actually building the product and up to a point where real life customers will start using your product. Labs by Beacom takes you through that journey. And then it's practical learning. It helps you to improve your career. You can use it as reference. It can be part of your portfolio. And you can also use it as a portfolio as a techie. And so if you're interested, beacom.net/labs is where you want to go. Tech Career Coaching, and I believe this is the last service I'll talk about. The Tech Career Coaching service helps you to land your next role faster. And these are all services under Beacom Dev Center, our talent development platform. It helps you to land your next role faster, particularly focused on the UK right now. It helps you to build relevant experience in your target country. You get connection to technical recruiters. We're able to help with jobs with work visa sponsorship available. We're able to prepare your profile so that it fits into some of those roles and help you along those lines. And you can also look at that at beacom.net/tech career coaching. You may want to take a screenshot of this because a number of visa opportunities are available, as I mentioned earlier, and these are tech-enabled visa routes across multiple countries, across multiple jurisdictions. We'll be focused on the US route during today's open day, but we've done a number of open days focused on different visa opportunities, and so we encourage you to take a look at that. The lowest common denominator across these visa routes is that be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you have options. And so what we do at eMigr8 is help you to become globally attractive so that you have those options. And that's the lowest common denominator across the different visa opportunities we discuss on the eMigr8 platform, including the one we will be discussing today. In addition, eMigr8 focuses on visa opportunities that you have a pathway to settlement, visa opportunities where your family can move with you if you have a family, visa opportunities where you as a beginner can plan to qualify for this visa opportunity over a period of time, and we can work with you and handle you through that entire process. We also focus on, for now, we focus on only tech-enabled visa opportunities. In the future, we may open it up to other visa types, but for now, we are focused 100% on tech-enabled visa opportunities. We do open days where we drill down exhaustively into these different visa opportunities. And the list is not exhaustive because different countries of the world are coming up with new visas every time. April 13, 2023, the UK came up with the UK Innovator Founder Visa route. Spain is also launching a visa route this summer, which would be interesting to tech-enabled people interested across the world in tech-enabled visa opportunities. And there are several countries that are developing different visa routes, all of them looking at attracting you as a talent to their jurisdiction. You can take advantage of some of these information and you can prepare towards some of these as well. If you don't yet qualify for this visa route, what you should be looking at is what should you be doing right now? What you should be doing right now is that you should be planning, you should be preparing, you should be getting yourself ready, you should be assessing yourself to say, oh, this is the question paper and answer sheet that they've given me. Let me prepare my profile so that in 6 months, in 3 months, in 1 month, in 1 year, in 2 years, whatever it is, that I would qualify for this visa opportunity. And that's what you should be doing at the moment. And so we'll be bringing up our guest at this point, our coach for the day, who is Ernest. Ernest will introduce himself, but then we'll be bringing him up to just share more around his own journey, around his journey into tech, his journey into moving to the US, and his journey to becoming a global talent in the US economy. And so with that being said, once again, welcome to this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. If you have questions, and we hope that you would have a lot of questions, we ask that you drop them in the chat, because we would not have an opportunity for an open consultation during today's edition. There's a lot to cover during today's edition. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat, and then we'll be able to get to as many questions as possible. We've also compiled some questions from the community that we'll also be asking as well. So with that being said, Ernest, you're welcome.
Hi, Benny.
How are you doing?
Very well. Hi, evening and good afternoon, depending on your time zone. Before I begin, I'll have to, put up some disclaimer. And first, I am not a lawyer, and I'm also not an attorney or immigration consultant. I do not represent any organization. I just represent myself. And any thoughts or discussion that we're going to have here reflects on my personal opinion or on my personal experience as well. I just want to, make that open. And first, I want to use this opportunity to appreciate every one of you for joining this space this afternoon or this evening. And I'm also happy to be here. Myself, my name is Ernest Ezema. I currently work as an IT support engineer with Applause. Applause is a software testing company here in the UX. I currently work remote. I work from my house. I just want to share a bit of my journey to tech. And also, I am not that speaking fast like Bade, just pardon me. I'll be taking it slowly, but I know I'm going to meet up with time. My journey to tech. I can say my journey to tech began from me gaining admission to study computer science in Ebonyi State University. And that was in 2008 when I gained my admission to study in Ebonyi State University. I was so happy because computer science or computer in general was something that interested me the most. And I know then I was working in a cyber cafe, and that was, another thing that put me, give me the advantage, made me to love computers, how things work, a lot of things. And I decided to, journey to computer or tech related. And, in Nigeria, in your third year or your second year, you go for an internship. I think it's called CWEX, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I saw application online posted by Beacom ICT Solution for internship, and I applied for that. And as God may have it, I received email one day for an interview, and after the interview, I was successful and was hired to work as an intern with Beacom. And I was staying in the East, so I had to move to Lagos, which was another phase of my life. I've never been in Lagos then, but it was an opportunity for me. So I moved to Lagos and I was staying with a friend. So at Beacom, we were trained on how to design websites using content management system. It's called CMS, the Joomla, WordPress, Drupal. And not just that, we also, trained on how to do some graphics, how to, do many things. But one thing stood out then, working at Beacom, the people I met there, and also Bade being the CEO of the company. He was always around, putting you through my OWA then, my supervisor, and many other things. So it was the network of friends I met, the Joomla, the festival that we usually have, and other things. So I was also able to learn other things, other skills, the communication skill, leadership skills, and interpersonal relationship. So it was awesome experience. And it was a place I could say is my first startup in terms of learning how to, code with HTML, editing some code, designing user-friendly website, doing search engine optimization, and many other things. So from there, when I graduated, I just served 1 year there for my internship. And when I finished, I had to go back to the East. And I graduated with my BSc in computer science and went for my service. Before then, a friend had already told me about Germany, that in Germany, they don't pay tuition fee. I said, okay, let me try that. So that was during my NYSC. I know I got admission in one university in Germany. That was University of Applied Sciences, Bonn. I got admission to study masters in autonomous system. So, but in Germany, they need you to, open a block account and deposit a certain amount of money into the account. It's not that you're going to, the money is just for your upkeep and other thing. It's not, but I didn't have the money then. My family also don't have the money. I remember writing to the governor of my state then through a family friend, and nothing was, successful then. So I missed out from the admission. At the end of the day, my brother was staying in Malaysia, in Asia. So he told me, why not come to Malaysia and do your master's? I said, okay. I started researching about the best universities in Malaysia. So I saw University of Malaya, then saw University Putra Malaysia, which was number second there. So I applied for University of Putra Malaysia, and they gave me admission to study computer network. And it was totally on research. So, they have taught course and research based. So I choose that of the research based because I wasn't going to classes. I was just coming to lab, and my supervisor, I proposed a topic which was accepted for my thesis. I started working on that. And that helped me a lot because that contributed to my success here in the US because it was a research program. And I used the opportunity to do some publication. In fact, there I had 4 publications and 12 citations. Currently, I have 5 publications and 12 citations. But during my research, that was when I got most of my publication, and it was what helped me because we'll still come back to that. I just wanted to point that out so that you see the coloration between the both. So, and I also had scholarship then for my research. So moving up, I also got admission to study PhD in the university then in Malaysia. But at the time, I saw that Malaysia had no future for me as a tech person, and I wasn't going to stay in Asia. So I decided to move to another country, even though I've gotten a PhD in Malaysia. So I was submitting applications to other countries, to Australia, to Canada, and to the US as well. I know I got admission to study in Australia for masters. I also got admission to study in Canada for masters as well. And I was, pursuing admission to study for PhD in the US. So then I had a friend who is here also in the US. He advised me, why not go for masters? Why, continue to apply for PhD and it's not coming up and it's taking time? That the most important thing is for you to be here. I took his advice. I applied to universities in the US, and I was able to gain admission in several universities. And one thing about the US is that you're not paying any money for you to come here, which is totally different from other countries like Canada or Australia. You have to pay some amount of money, before you move over there. But in the US, you just have to pay for service fee. You have to pay for, maybe depending on the school, you have to pay like $300 the deposit, which will also count to your tuition. So I got admission here in the US. So, and I have to leave Malaysia to Nigeria. I actually got my visa in Nigeria. So just fast forward. I got here. I got scholarship, but it's not fully funded. I got like 40% scholarship, and I started working on campus as well. And when I was working on campus employment also helped me because I was working in the IT department, which is the student technical support. All right. So I started working there. I worked there for almost the whole of my time in the university. I was getting paid. It was helping me to offset balance of my tuition as well. And in the US here also, you have the opportunity to, do your internship if you're in STEM. So I got internship with the company I'm currently working with. So because I started doing internship with them, and when I graduated, I also continue working with the company. So, and these are the opportunities you have in the US. So I think that is the path. So let's now talk about the EB2 NYW, which is one of the most important things why I'm here and why I'm presenting today. So the EB2 NYW is an employment-based visa. However, it's the second preference and is tagged the national interest waiver because you do not, need a labor certificate. You can file on your own without an employer. So it's an employment visa that allows individual with exceptional abilities or advanced degree to obtain a permanent residence in the United States. So in my own case, I learned about this when I came into the US newly. So because most times it's all about how much information do you have, and also the people around you as well. They contribute to your success to a certain level. So I have a friend who knew about this, and he got married to a US citizen, and he was telling me, my friend, don't go through my route. Go through this route because I know these other people that got it, and it is easier, and you don't have to scratch your head. I said, okay, thank you so much. So I started researching about that, gathering informations and all whatnot. So I reached out to a lawyer, and after my evaluation, they said yes, that I'm qualified and that I can, file with them. So I had to also do a degree evaluation because I actually used my degree from Malaysia to file, not actually the degree I got here in the United States. So for you to EB2 in a layman language or understanding, the EB2 NYW, it's people with advanced degree and exceptional ability. So the government, in quote, believe that you can contribute to the economy of the United States, either by your exceptional ability or your degree. So because of that, they are giving you a visa to stay in the United States, and invariably through that visa, you're getting a permanent residence. So I would like to summarize the EB2 NYW in 4 steps or in 5 steps per se. So first, you have to petition the USCIS, which is the immigration. And for you to do that, you have to file a form that is called Form I-140. Do you understand? Which is for the EB2 NYW, which I said is the employment-based visa. The second preference, the national interest waiver. 2, you have to submit supporting documents. What are these documents that you have to submit? So first, you have to get a referee, which Bade here was one of my referees. So, and those referees are categorized into dependent and independent referee. So dependent referees are people maybe people you've worked with, or your professors in the university, and people that you know. So the independent referees are people you actually don't know. They don't know you well. Maybe you met them at conference. They are friends in LinkedIn, and you're in the same expert area with them and all whatnot. So that is one of the documents to submit. 2, you have to write a proposed endeavor, what you want to do or what you want to continue to do when they approve this petition for you. Are you going to remain in your area of research? in your area of expertise and other things. So you have to, tell them in your proposed endeavor, explain it in details. Then there's a petition letter. In that petition letter is where the whole work is, and that is where you have to convince the adjudicators or the USSI guys that yes, you merited for this. You have to explain yourself, what you've been doing, how your research is going to contribute to the economy of the company, of the country, why you are so exceptional for them to accept you or give you this visa, probably you gaining your permanent resident. All right. So, and some other documents, like if you're filing here in the US, you have to include your current visa status. Like me, I came through F1. So if you're married, you have to include information about your spouse and other dependents. And you have to also include your means of identification, information about your nationality, information about your date of birth, which is very important as well. So these are the part of documents or documentations, supporting documents to include. And there's a filing fee that you pay to the United States government, which is the US CSI, is $700. You have to pay that through card or through money order. And the next thing is for you to wait for them to make a decision. And most times it takes time. But for my case, I filed, it was around, I filed December and it was approved January. So it wasn't that much. Can you guys hear me?
We can still hear you loud and clear, but your camera went off just now.
Oh, sorry about that. So
yeah, your camera is still off, but we can hear you.
All right. Could be bad.
Yeah, while we sort that out. Oh yeah, you're back now. We see you now. Okay. I'll just mention to the audience, if you have questions, please drop it in the chat. Yeah, go ahead, Ernest.
All right, I'm already rounding off. So you have to wait for a decision to be made. And usually it depends on, is per individual basics, because some people, their own usually come out fast. Some people, their own takes time, to come out. So you can't say actually the time frame for the decision to be made. And when that decision is made, when your form I-140 is approved, then you can now adjust your status, which is petitioning the US government for you to get your green card. And that is 485. So you now file for form I-485. And once that is approved also, but there's a cap here, for you to file for the adjustment of status, your case must be current. What it means that the date you filed for the EB2NYW, which is I-140, so that is your priority date. So, and the UISS have a calendar, because like China and India, their date is not current. It dated back to so many years, maybe 2014, but the rest of the world, their date was current earlier until it retrogressed now. So which some people, the date you filed might not be current, which means you cannot file for adjustment of status. So you have to wait for your date to be current, then you can file for adjustment of status. And once you do that, then you get your green card, and you also invite your family, and your family can join you here in the United States. So I think that should be all. If there's any question or if there's anything at all I'm missing, then I'll come back to it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ernest. I think you've laid the ground very well as regards the general journey. And I'm sure there will be many questions in the chat and all of that. But let's drill down into the requirement for the visa, the EB visa generally, but specifically EB2, which is, the one you were talking about. Could you give a bit of insight into the requirement for the visa. How can people possibly qualify for the visa? In your own case, I mean, PhD and all of that, but are there some other requirements that people could leverage on for this specific visa?
Yes, there, like I said, it boils down to two things. Number one is advanced degree. Number two is exceptional ability. So you must have one of these. Advanced degree, you can have your master's or your PhD. All right. So, and the other one, if you've already been working and have like a 10 years experience in your work, do you understand? You might still qualify for it. If you can show that you have exceptional ability, or if you're doing something else that the government feel it can benefit here in the US, then you'll be able to, do that. Or if you have like publications in your area of research, you've been researching on something and that research is very important. Maybe the research is geared towards climate change, geared towards cybersecurity, it gets towards, things that can actually make impact. And you have it published, people, cite you about the work you're doing, So these are the things that sums up to be your exceptional ability.
No, fantastic. Yeah, so somebody is asking, can we file for this from outside the US? And what is the education level you must attain before filing? I will just ask for the audience, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat and we'll take as many questions as possible. You can also drop them in the community and we'll take as many questions as possible.
Yes, you can actually file outside the US. Many people are filing from Nigeria and they are getting it. So, but it is not the same process. So when you file from Nigeria or outside of the United States, it has to go, it's called consular processing. All right. So, and everything you're going to do is from Nigeria, you have to, go to their website, fill the form, and they'll have to submit you to MVC. And when your letter comes back, you'll be sent, when it is approved, you'll be sent to Nigeria for interview and other things. So yes, you can file outside of the Nigeria, and the educational level you must attain is to have a master's degree.
Interesting. And could we talk a bit more around some of the things that you submitted? I know you gave a quick overview around some of the items that you submitted around your research papers and all of that, but can we take a little bit more look around that? I mean, this is a recorded session, so don't share anything you don't want on the internet, but can we talk a little bit more around what are some of the documents that you needed to submit?
So the first document I submitted, which was during my evaluation with the law firm, is I evaluated my degree from Malaysia because they needed to see that is equivalent to that of the US. So when the result of the evaluation came out, I submitted it to the law firm. I also submitted my birth certificate. I also submitted, because I indicated that I'm married, so I submitted my marriage certificate as well. I submitted information about my spouse. I submitted information about my status in the US because I'm on F1 then, so I have to submit the visa page of my F1. I have to submit also my I-94, which shows when I came and go out of the US. Then I also submitted information about my publication and my citation as well. So because you have to also bring out the pages of the journal that cited you and where they cited you. So you have to, screenshot those things, mark it. All right. Then I also submitted my Google Scholar information, where they can also see the number of citations I have, the number of publications I have as well. Then I submitted information about, I uploaded my resume, and I also submitted information about where I was working what I was doing, the description of the work, where I've worked before, and what again? And I also submitted the referees as well, which is one of the ones you sent to me. It was actually 4 that I submitted because it has to come with the headed letter of the person that is referring you. So I submitted the referees that is signed. And what again? Then the petition letter, which will be drafted out. If you're using a lawyer, the lawyer will draft that for you. But if you're filing independently, you have to draft that yourself. You also have to write the proposed endeavor as well. Like I stated before, you have to explain what your country doing, what you want to do when the visa is approved or when your petition is approved. So I think that will be it.
I think that sums it up really nicely. Let's drill down a little bit around the petition and then the proposed endeavor documents. Could you share a bit more around how that was structured? As I mean, some of the members of the community, some are trying to do it themselves or working with coaches within the eMigr8 community for these applications. So could you drill down a bit more around what were some of the things you needed to talk about in these in the petition?
So most importantly, you have to talk about your achievement, especially in your field. All right. In my own case, which is my basic point is that my research will help in cybersecurity. All right, which is what I've been working on Internet of Things and also phishing as well. So I was trying to, say that if I'm given the opportunity to remain in the UX, that I'll continue this research and the publications that I'll be having will be benefiting the US people in order for them to be safe in terms of safe online, and also that my research will, suggest ways the government can deal with cyber-related issues and put that information as well to people on how to be safe online. So basically, you'll be talking about what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and your achievement. And most times you have to cite those things because in my own case, a lot of the 4 publications I have and the 12 citations, I have to, cite those things that, yes, people are already talking about my work and how my work is important in the community, whereby since people can cite my work means that the work is important, and they're also trying to use that to teach other people how this can, improve this, da. So.
Yeah, fantastic. And you mentioned, I mean, aside from people in the research, there's also the idea of exceptional ability. Do you have any insight into some of the things that somebody looking at it from an exceptional ability perspective could submit? So somebody is asking in the chat to say, is this visa only for people in the field of research? So I mean, it's not visa advice. I would say to the community, this is not visa advice. This is not immigration advice. And this is not legal advice either. So please bear that in mind. But Ernest, any insights to this?
So, yeah. So my friend, first, he did not use a lawyer. 2, he wasn't into research. In fact, he had 0 publication. He was into biometric. He's a biomedical engineer. So I think what stood out for him, he involved in a research for COVID-19. So, and he had no publication, and he had no, like I did in my own case. So it is usually the way you package yourself, the amount of information you put out, to convince the adjudicator or somebody that is overseeing your case. And one thing that is very important here is that if your case is not approved, you have the opportunity to appeal and also resubmit. Most time, they will give you an RFA, which is they require further evidence. Do you understand? If they are not satisfied with what you've provided, they will issue RFA to you. In my own case, I didn't receive any, but most people who have, filed, they require them to provide more evidence in order to support their application. So it is not basically people in quote on research. Now, most times is the way you prepare your case. The way you prepare your case, the information you put out, how rich is your petition to this. And most times you have things to support. Like most people, your work experience can form some of these. Like most people that have 10 years work experience, what they've been doing in their work, how the work experience have, helped them to do this, to do that. It's all about bringing those things. And you have people as referees who can talk about that so person, have been in this area and has been working on this and been doing this and been doing that. And that is where the referee plays a role. So because I know that my friend, because he didn't have any research, he has to get more referees. He had like more than 10 referees, people talking about him, talking about his job, his academic, how exceptional he was during school, that he's the best in his class, these, things. So that's just it.
Wow. Fantastic. And that's a lot of information. Let me ask one more around the visa, and then we'll look at a few other questions from the community. It's around the referees now. What kind of quality of, what level should the referees be? What kind of relationship do they need to have with you? Do they need to know you at all? Do they need to know your work? Or they can just be people that have seen your tweets before? What level do they need to be in this case?
So in most cases, especially when you use a lawyer, so the lawyer, because most times the attorney here, they don't want to file any case. So that is why they have to scrutinize, their candidates to make sure that they meet up with most of the requirements, and they'll give you guidelines. But if you're filing on your own, at least you should, get people that have attained some level of understanding, maybe in your area of your expertise. Take, for example, if I'm in IT now, I could look for somebody maybe who have worked in an IT company maybe for the last five years that can actually talk about IT if the issue comes up, or that knows the area or the environment. I can't just go and get my classmate who I graduated the same time, maybe, do you understand? So you need somebody that have that experience, and somebody who probably can write with their letter-headed letter, and they know they are coming from this organization, they are working for this organization, and something like that.
Well, and I'll do it now. We've been speaking to the expert people in the room, but let's speak a bit to the beginners as well. How does a beginner start building those kinds of relationships? So we've got some beginners in the eMigr8 community. They have 0 years of experience in tech, maybe 6 months experience in tech, and they are wondering, I don't have all these relationships at this point. How do they build it? Any insights for them?
So for me, you have to create a network for yourself. What do I mean by that? I learned something recently, and that thing has been helping me. What did I learn? Somebody said, first, the person said, you should start following people on LinkedIn. All right? You should start following people on LinkedIn. And I started doing that. And the person said again, that if you see a post, don't just like the post, comment on that post. When you comment on that post, you have, a very big view. People will start checking your profile. People will start, connecting with you and all that. And it has been working for me. All right. So one of the lady, in fact, two people that served as my referee, I never met them from Adam. It was through LinkedIn. Do you understand that? So I've followed them and connected with them before now. So when the time came, in fact, when the woman, because she's also in cybersecurity, when she puts something about the, I'll just go and comment, write something. So when the time came, and I have to write to her that I'm so person and I'm applying for this, that I want you to help me and I want you to be my referee. And voila, she said, okay, that she has been following me, my comment. That's it. Say, wow. So what I would advise for people is to, people who are new in tech, is to start creating networks, start networking, start following people. All right. Start following people, listening to spaces. If you're on Twitter, there are many spaces on Twitter that they talk about tech. All right. And there are people on Twitter as well that talk about tech. All right. Follow that spaces. Join some boot camp as well. There are free courses on Udemy, on LinkedIn, on Google. Do you understand? Start doing something. Don't wait that you're new. All right. So when you have some of these foundational free courses, if they give you a badge, put it on your LinkedIn page, put it on your Twitter page. Although when you become big, a time will come that you'll be removing those things when you get a bigger one. Because I did the same thing. When I was having those foundational courses and all that, I was so happy, I broadcast it, put it on, LinkedIn, and it gives me the. But when I started advancing, I started removing them and, replacing them with the bigger one. So that's what I would advise.
Wow. Yeah, and speaking about your journey, thank you for that, by the way. For the beginners in the room, particularly those that are within the Bincom Dev Center program, it's something we call social influence. It's part of the program to try and get people to build those relationships and start now, not in 1 year's time when you need the relationship. And don't also try to build the relationship because you think you need them in 1 year's time. Be natural and organic about it. Let's talk a bit about your journey. So Nigeria, Malaysia, US. How has that journey been? Different environment, different countries, different cultures, I'm guessing as well. Could you speak a bit more around that as well? Because one of the things we say to people within eMigr8 community sometimes is you don't have to focus on moving out to your destination country. You can find an intermediate country for us to move to, and then you can move from there to your final destination. That's one of the things we advise people from time to time, depending on their profile. But yeah, could you speak a bit more around that? Nigeria, Malaysia, the US, the cultural differences, the journey, and all of that.
Yeah, I can say that is awesome. And I was telling one of my friends that when I will start my journey, my tour journey, that Asia will be the first place I'm going to go when I have my break and all that things. All right, because it's a wonderful place to be, and most times you spend less and get a high quality standard things. Do you understand? All right, but one thing I don't like about them is that they don't want you to stay in their country, in quote. All right, so they don't have all these visas that we are talking about, bring tech in. No. So when you finish your study, you're going back, because most times there's no work, all right, for international people like us. So I already know that. So I've already made up my mind that once I'm graduating, that I'm going to somewhere else. And I started planning it on time. So, and while in Nigeria, I had always known that, in fact, I have that interest to travel, outside the country. But Canada was what I loved then. I never thought of, the UX. So it was now when I went to Malaysia that, I started, because my friends are here, and I can tell you, I love it here. All right. It gives me the opportunity for anything. Do you understand? So, like some of these other places that I said that if you ask me to go stay there, I'm not going to go there. Do you understand? So I love here, and it's been awesome. Trying to different culture, meeting different people, because that's the most important thing. And my friends who we graduated from Malaysia, I'm still talking with them. Most of them also want to move to the UX. Most of them come to conference here in the US. We had the opportunity to see, and so it's been awesome, and I like it. And I'm also somebody that loves traveling, meeting new people, going out of my way to discover things. So it's been awesome, and I love it.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I will just tell the community again, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. We won't have time to do an open consultation during today's edition of eMigr8 Open Day. So if you do have questions, please do drop them in the chat. We're speaking with Ernest. We're focusing on move to the US as a global talent. The visa of focus is the EB2 NIW National Interest Waiver visa is the visa of focus, but NS is also speaking around how you can be a global talent within the US economy. Somebody is asking.
There's a question here I want to touch to. I think is from Elijah.
Okay.
Is there any possible ways to? Yes, there is. In fact, there's an expedite process that you have to pay additional $2,500. Once you pay it, then your case will be decided within 2 weeks or even less. So the government does that. And also is a process they want to, they have so many backlog. So because of that, they created this expedite process. So once you pay that, within 2 weeks, your case will be decided. Although some people don't like doing that, because most times, because the case will be rushed, they will not take time to go through your case very well. And if you receive a denial, most times is a problem. All right. So most people decide to leave it. Whenever the decision is made, they will take it. So, but if you're confident that you know what you have petitioned, and maybe because of the time frame, something is about to spoil or something, then you can file for expedite and they can take it.
Yeah. Fantastic. And then let's talk a little bit around the journey with Bincom and also the eMigr8 community as well. How has that been with Bincom? How has Bincom helped, and how has eMigr8 helped in your own specific case?
Yeah, like I said, I learned my first HTML coding in Bincom, and also designing with the content management system. And not just that, I could say the people there in Bincom was something else. I remember Maiwa, I remember Anna as well. It made me feel home then, and I had a family. I had the opportunity to express, myself and other things, and got advice. And I'm happy that this relationship is still there, even though it's how many years back. All right. So all these people I'm mentioning, I still have them. They are still in my network. All right. So which is the most important thing? Because if I don't have Bade in my network, I wouldn't have contacted him to help me, during the time I was filing for my EB2 NYW, and for him to be my referee. All right. So another thing is for you to also be that good guy, good that person, and keep a clean record wherever you pass. Do you understand? Because maybe you might go back to that place, to get something that you need. So it's been a good journey, and I believe by God's grace it will continue to be. And I also want to thank you, Betty, as well, because your creativity and also way of helping people is very much appreciated, and I want you to continue to do the good work you're doing. And I believe with this platform and the new idea, you have to also extend your hand in continue to helping people as you always do. So thank you.
Thank you for that, and thank you for the feedback as well. We do appreciate, and we like hearing from our successes every time as regards, their journey and what they've been doing. I'll just say again to the community, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. It will be a fantastic time to drop your questions in the chat so that we would be able to answer as many questions as possible as regards the US, moving to the US as a global talent. Ernest, are there some other visa opportunities that individuals in the community should also take a look at? As we've always said, it's not immigration advice, but are there other visa opportunities that some people may not know about, but that you mentioning it, you talking about it, they may be able to go research about it, and it may just be the opportunity that they are looking for?
Yeah, there are many visa opportunities, but most times, most of the visa opportunities they have here in the US, it's good situated for people that are here, in most times, in quote, because when you graduate from school here, then you have what is called OPT. If you're in STEM, you just have like 3 more years to stay in the country to work. All right. Then if you have a company you're working with, the company can decide to file for a visa for you, which is the H-1B. Do you understand? So, and that H-1B is 5 years, depending, and is renewable as well. So, and from that H-1B, you can also get your green card. Most companies also file direct, green card application for their employee. All right. So, and there's also another visa. I can't recall now, but I think I saw it on your website or one of your presentations here. Is for people who are also in tech, people who are professionals. There are visas for professionals as well. Do you understand? So if you go to the USI, the United States Immigration website, you get to read more about visas, the different visa type, and the one that applies to you. All right.
A number of people in our community would typically start with the O1 visa. I believe that's the one you were trying to talk about, right? So people start with the O1 visa, and then from O1 you move to the EB series visa, either EB1 or EB2, depending on where what you are situated and where you are situated. There are reasons for that. I don't know if you want to speak a bit around that. O1, EB1, EB2, and those exceptional ability. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but do you want to speak a bit more around?
So the EB1, the EB1s, you have to have an employer file for you on that. So why the EB2, the second preference, which is NYW, you don't need an employer. In fact, you don't need a job for you to file for that. So that is why that one is exceptional. You don't need an employer for them to file for you. So you're filing that on your own, which the government have also created. You don't need like a labor certificate or from the employer and this, that, which applies to EB1 and also EB2. Do you understand? But for the NYW, you're doing it on your own without an employer. So that's just the thing.
Fantastic.
So the EB it means employment base. So they now have different categories. They have EB1 and they also have EB2. They now have EB2 NYW. Do you understand? So
yeah. Fantastic. And just to mention to the community, the EB series are permanent residency. O1 visa is temporary, which is the reason why if you're starting with the O1 visa, then you will still need to, over a period of time, switch into the EB visa. If you qualify already for the O1 visa, to a large extent, you will likely qualify for the EB visa as well. You may need to do a little bit more work. You may need to add a bit more evidence, but that's what people in the community, and we have a number of successes in the community as well. But in NS's case, he went directly to the EB visa. We're coming towards the end of this session, and NS, I wanted you to speak to the different audience in the room. We've got different categories of audience in the room. Within the eMigr8 community, we have 5 categories of audience. So we've got the beginners in tech, we've got intermediate people in tech, we've got advanced people, we've got people in different countries of the world, no pathway to settlement, and they are looking for pathways to settlement. And then we've got people who are looking to apply immediately. I wanted you to speak to each one of those categories just to say these are some tips and all of that. I know you started speaking to the beginners already to say start building relationships and all, but are there some more advice that you would have for the beginners in the room? They're just starting their journey. Some of them in the room are part of the Beacon program, some are not, but they are just starting their journey at this point in time. Do you have some advice for them?
yes, for the beginners, I would say keep asking questions, all right? And keep researching, all right? So, and as a beginner, any little thing you do, bring it out, because it's only when you bring it out that people will see it and people will correct you. And that correction will help you to, mold something big, all right? And there's one thing most people don't understand, and sometimes or most times this is it goes down to people in Nigeria. So your social media pages can actually help to sell you. So you should be mindful of what you put out there to the public, especially in your social media, your Facebook page, your Twitter page, and your LinkedIn. So those things or those media are supposed to be a tool for you to sell yourself and for you to learn as well. So start from today, mind what you post there. And the content that you're supposed to be posting there should be content that will be, that should sell you or that will help you to learn. Like I said, don't be afraid to fail. When you fail, is a stepping stone for you to, move to a step forward to something somewhere else. So any small thing you do, even though it's HTML, if you write it and you have the result, post it. All right. If there's error, if there's any way you did not get it right, somebody who is there to correct you. And from that correction, you're already building a network. And that person might be the same person that will continue to correct you or even introduce you to a new thing. So hands-on, try your hands in so many things, ask questions and keep talking, and that's it.
Yeah, I feel like you're already talking to the intermediates as well, but do you have additional advice for people who are already 4, 5, 6 years in the field of tech? They've built some of these things you're talking about. They have the skill, they have a bit of experience, but then they are looking at growing their career further as well. They're looking outwards. They are thinking about, oh, I would like to move in the future. I would like to move to different host countries, maybe to the US as a global talent. Are there some advice that you do have for them?
Yes. Yeah, one of the advice I give people, take for example these this space that we are into now, this, what is it called?
eMigr8.
No, the Zoom meeting.
Zoom, okay.
Yeah, I know in Nigeria it might be late now. So, but if you check it, every other person in this space turned off their video. I don't know, maybe for one reason or the other. But if I'm an examiner to say, if I see anybody that turn on their video or and have this be proud of himself, or do you understand? I will put that person as exceptional from others. And that is what I want to say. In your LinkedIn, it's about the content you put out, the photo you put there, how you prepared your page. That is what most people in this country, that's where you look for job. That is where if an employer wants to speak to you, that is the first place they will run to. They'll check the information there. They already gotten the information, and most times they will just download your resume from there. So what I'm trying to say, for the guys who already, the intermediates who are already have something there, get a GitHub account. Start putting those things there. Go to your social media and be, sharing them. Somebody might pick interest, and Nigerians are so talented in the sense that most things that people think that, but we do it in a different way, imaginary way that, other people cannot do it or something. So get a GitHub account, some of these repositories where you can dump your work, then start posting them in your social media. That I developed this one that is solving so problem. All right. And that you're into this, into that. Get a web presence for yourself and start working on it. So that's just what I was saying.
Oh, fantastic. And then what would you advise the advanced people in the room, 10, 15 years experience in the field, head of tech somewhere, senior developer somewhere, and they are also looking at what are the opportunities out there for me. Some are families, some, well, yeah, most are families, but they are also looking at what are the opportunities available globally for me at this stage in my career. What would you advise them?
So that one is simple. Learn something new. Know what is trending. And don't focus on what you've known for years. All right. So when time change, you change with time. In our current world, we have different things that are trending, different programming languages that are in there. Maybe you learned the old one then. Now try new things. And also based on what I have discussed, put out your work there. All right, let people see. But most importantly, especially the ones that are already advanced, don't relax. Try and do new things, try and learn new things, that especially the in things that are happening now. And expand your network, is because through that's where you get to meet people in the field. Based on your experience, when you talk to them, they will share idea. And sometimes travel, if you have the opportunity, you can start from Africa. It mustn't be, if you're not in abroad already, you can start from Africa, attending some of these conferences, and that is in your area. All right, when you go there, meet with people. If you have the opportunity, you present paper, or be a keynote speaker, or any of these things. Share your experience in your field. So that's what I can advise.
Yeah. Before we come to the two other category of the audience, we are coming to the end of this. I'll just say to our audience in the room, we're coming to the end of this. We promised that if you waited till the end, we would be giving you a gift, and this is the gift. normally you get only one short inquiry session, 10 to 15 minutes. You get only one available for free per individual. But because you're a member of the community and you've also stayed till the end of these open day session, or you've watched the video to the end, if you're watching the replay video, you would get access to a second short inquiry session as well. How we think that you would be able to use this is you may take one session to just find out, maybe clarify a couple of things around your own unique circumstance. But then when you've done a bit more work, you may want to come back again to say, hey, I've done a bit more work. I'm not quite clear about this, this, and this. And then you may need a coach to just speak with you, give you direction, help with handholding and all. And so you get a second one free of charge as a member of the eMigr8 community. And so you can just let the team know to say, oh, I was part of an open day session till the end, and then they will be able to give you access to a second session with an eMigr8 coach as necessary. Also, don't forget the community is available. The community, we've got the eMigr8 community that is free. We ask that you share, you like, you comment, ask questions, also answer questions if you have answers to questions within the community. We have the community available on WhatsApp, on Telegram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on YouTube and one other social network. We've got 6 different eMigr8 communities at the moment. And so we ask that you engage within these communities as well. So that's for the community. And then Ernest, do you have any advice for people who are considering the eMigr8 community? Do you have any advice for them in terms of people who are interested in eMigr8, whether our free services or our premium services? Do you have any advice for them?
So I think my advice should be that they'll definitely gain. All right. So because like you mentioned, is a community. And in community, you have different people with different experience, expertise, and skills. So when you join the community, you must surely find where you belong, and where from that place it helps you to build yourself, and not just in quote tech-wise, can build other skills. All right. So I will ask or encourage everybody to join. That's my advice.
Yeah. Thank you, Ernest. And there's a question in the chat before we go to the other 2 category. I know we are really running out of time. The question in the chat is, what's the starting point to submit EB2 LIW petition? Share where to obtain comprehensive information. Google it, right? And then help to learn more about practical steps to doing. So what paperwork are involved? I think we covered this to a large extent during this session. I would say, please watch the replay video again. But Ernest, is there anything else you would like to add for this person? It looks like the person was not at the beginning of this session where you covered this extensively.
I think you've said it all. Google it. So when you Google it, you get more information. But most importantly, you have to, before you even petition or file, you have to get the required information. And the required information is in the USCIS website, which is the immigration website. If you go there, it has everything. It has, what documents you need to submit and how you're going to submit them, and also including the form. So you just go there, type it, and you see the information. But before you file, make sure you have every required document.
Yes, and you can also speak with the eMigr8 community. We've got coaches focused on the US visa pathway. And so you can also speak with the coaches. But before you speak with the coaches, what we ask is please take a look at all the information available in public domain as regards this visa opportunity. So by the time you're asking questions from our coaches within the community, we're asking questions that has to do with your own unique circumstance, and you're asking questions that you've already spent some time doing some research on it. Well, we've answered this question as well. Somebody's asking around the time rates in which they respond to application. It depends on if you pay for fast track or you do not pay for fast track applications. Yeah, so Ernest, we were talking about categories of eMigr8 audience, right? And people in the eMigr8 community. There are people who are currently in the US, they don't have a pathway to settlement, and they are also within the community trying to figure out a pathway to permanent residency within the community. What would you advise them? Is this a pathway you would advise them to explore, to plan for? What would you advise this category of audience?
Yes, so this EB2NYW, the person checks and sees that they are qualified. That's the easiest and the fastest. I wouldn't say the fastest, but that is the best. All right. So I would advise anybody that is currently in the UX and is into tech. I mean, just do it. Do it. It's very, very do it. That's just what I'll say.
Yeah, do it and do it and do it. Final category, people that are looking to apply immediately. They are already qualified. They've already understood a lot of this information and all of that. What would you advise them around coaching, around lawyers, around all of that? Are there some advice that you would give them?
You have to check yourself if you have the money, because a lot of attorney out there, they collect thousands of dollars for them to file. But like I said, you can do it on your own. So before doing it on your own, make sure you have all the necessary information that is required. And once you have those, then file. It's all about packaging, the way you present your case and other things. All right. And don't wait, because that's another thing most people make. All right. Don't wait. If you keep waiting, then time is ticking. You know, America, depending on the visa status that you are, and because you will be ineligible to apply when you don't have, when your status is not okay. So you have to be in good standing in terms of your immigration status before you'll be able to file. So don't wait for your current status that you're currently having or for you to be out of status before you'll be able to file. So just do it now that you have the opportunity.
We're coming to the end of this session, and Ernest, you'll be giving your final word in a moment. I'll just remind the audience and other members of our community to say eMigr8 is also here to help you. At eMigr8, we focus on helping you become globally attractive. The visas is a side effect of that. One of the visa opportunities that we focus on is the O1 visa that leads into the EB visa. Ernest, in his own case, went straight to the EB visa from a different visa pathway within the US. eMigr8 services covers information to general inquiry, to coaching, to handholding, to general information, roadmap, and all. And then we've got a lot of services available for free, but we do charge a premium as well. And we've got coaches on the platform focused on the US visa pathway. We also have relationship with lawyers that have a 99.9% success rate. The reason why they have that success rate is because they pre-qualify the people that they would work with. And members of our community have gone through that process. NS has gone through that process and have been successful. And that's the reason why we're talking about this specific visa pathway. eMigr8 has packages from the move to the UK as a global talent to move to the US as a global talent. To the UK Innovator Founder Visa, a new visa in the UK that launched on April 13, 2023, and a number of other visa opportunities that are available from the eMigr8 community. And we've got the eMigr8 community available. Join the community. The links are on the screen. You can like, you can share, you can ask questions. We've got a number of coaches in the different communities available to help as well. The take home for you would be that we are here to help. We would love to help, and then you just need to ask for help. Ernest, final words to the community. Thank you so much. You spent your day. I know it's afternoon for you at the moment. You spent your day, talking to us at this point. Do you have some final words for the community?
So my final word is that I'm happy to be here, and that I'm also happy to have shared 1 or 2 words with you guys here. So in my own word, in our own word, they say take my word, but I don't know how they put it in their adage. I believe one way or the other, you go home with 1 or 2 things from what I've said here today. So, and I wish everybody good luck.
Thank you so much. And from me, I would just say take action, and take action. From this session, from this replay video that you're watching, there may be things that has jumped out at you. Please take those actions immediately. Don't wait for another 3 months to 6 months and find out that you haven't done anything about the information that you've gotten from this session. And that's what our advice would be. Take action, and we can continue the conversation within the eMigr8 community. Thank you for joining us for this edition of eMigr8 Community. We do hope that it has been a very useful session for you. If it has been a useful session for you, please drop it in the chat. Let us know. Give us the feedback. We would like that feedback. This is part of the reason why we are able to continue doing this when we get feedback. And when you are successful as well, do let us know, to let us know, oh, you're a success, you've been successful based on this information. It helps us to continue doing what we currently do. Thank you so much for joining us. And Ernest, thank you for this coaching session. Thank you for sharing from, your experience. And thank you for letting us know, your journey so far. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day.